do phenomenally well. This, of course, been a very good map for VP. And then, yeah, like you said, then losing to Na'Vi. It's one that does seem to be a bit hit and miss for them, but for the most part, they do seem to be strong on. That said, HellRaisers have looked good on it too lately, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think that this being picked up by Fnatic is probably one of the best things that could have happened to HR. I feel like it's a map that they're strong on, but yeah, based on what we just saw on Cobblestone, you know, I'd say you can't count HellRaisers out. Anyway, we're heading into the pistol, Tom, and already Bomber's going to be heading in towards A main. It looks like they might try and make something happen out towards this A site as they have a solo player making his way over towards B in the form of Stiko, and actually Flush are going to be watching the angle, and oh, down he goes. So ultimately, no impact coming in from him. Instead, it's going to be two players over towards Ivy. Bomb backed up by Zero over towards A main. And actually, Angel now going to be rotating on back, leaving a lot of pressure on Bondic to try and push in through Ivy late on his own to catch a couple of these players off guard while they watch the push in through A main.
Yeah, Flush are just going to be waiting, hoping to replicate his previous success. Not quite able to do that. Obviously, he only used one bullet last time. Now, in terms of the current positions of the remaining players, we have seen a little bit of rotation from Olov just to look back towards this B site, but there's still three players in very close proximity with a little bit of a crossfire waiting. Now, 50 seconds coming up on the clock. There is going to be a little bit of a bait, but Dennis has denied anything. Picking up two, looking for his third onto Angel, who's just going to be stuck out. The bomb has already been dropped. A rotation will come in from behind from Bondic, but he's got to try and get himself 4 more kills to win this round.
Yeah, does have a USP, but look at this. Just so many Swedes homing in on one location. Bondic can have a real hard time of finding anything here. Does peek on out, and there's Olaf to find his head. It will be Fnatic to pick up that first. Both Dennis and Olaf not taking a point of damage, meaning rebuying into this round going to be nice and cheap for them as they don't have to go ahead and rebuy the head armor, only spending $350 on that upgrade, meaning they're both going to be the players to pick up the rifles. Everyone else going to be on UMPs to try and earn some cash. HellRaisers, meanwhile, did not get a bomb down, but they are going to opt once again to go for a light investment into this. Whole bunch of Deagles in play. Dead Fox not buying anything to go.
Oh, I wonder if it's happened again. It looks like Discord is not our friend. Double nade is actually going to get Dennis the first kill of the round. Bondic will be going down, as will Discord, unfortunately. Stiko is going to be looking for a little bit more over towards this B side. Not spotting out anything as of yet. Flusher is going to be ready and waiting on this B side. He is playing this solo role at the moment. Now, it does mean there's quite a high potential for them to actually be able to get the bomb down. But with the rest of the team just looking over towards this side, basically just waiting passively, hoping for some sort of mistake, using the long range of the Deagle. At the moment, not really able to find anything of the sort. I'm going to see a little bit of regression coming out from Crims. Not one of the rifle players, so he does want to get into a much closer scenario than what we've seen previously. Rotation from the majority, or at least 50% of the players, is actually going to be going over towards that B site. As said, it is a lot easier to get the bomb down, and considering they haven't really invested that much into this, a bomb plant could be wonderful, especially with that opening coming in from Angel. He takes down Olaf. Flusher is going to be looking to try and get the rifle back, which he will do, giving him a little bit of extra range. Dennis is going to find the one kill, but another for Angel. The Deag working wonders at this moment in time, and that will confirm the bomb plant for them. Maybe even allowing for a buy to come in the next round, but at the moment, they're fighting to hold on to this one. Stiko going to turn away, but he gets the kill with the Deag, making another in this round. Only Dennis and JW. Dennis only has 1 HP. This is looking absolutely wonderful for HellRaisers. They didn't even fully invest into this round, and now Dennis is the only man standing in their way. 1 HP. He's got 2 players to find, doesn't have the kit, and they're just playing with him, rotating around. He will get the first, gonna go straight for the defusal, but Angel, the man with 4 kills in this round, completely shuts down Fnatic, and as said, that was just a few Deagles, no armor behind it, a massive round from HR. Force Spy is going to come back in, however, for the Swedes. Fully investing. All of their money put into this round. We are going to see an AK or AKs, I should say, picked up for the rest of the team of HellRaisers. Saving one weapon. Angel there to start once again. A little bit of damage done early on to Dennis, who currently has the scout in play. Rest of the team with just pistols, no kit, and not a whole lot of utility either. Just going for that wallbang shot. Actually coming pretty close. But the aggression from the rest of the team isn't going to be working out at this point in time. Olaf will go down. And Dennis looking to try and trade something back. This is a full investment from them, as said. They're not going to get anything into the next round if they don't manage to pull something off here. And at the moment, well, really, they just want to be trying at least to do some damage, but it's just not happening. Every single player will be dropped. Another good round coming out from HellRaisers. They keep every single player alive, which will work wonders for their economy. And as said, that wasn't a save. That wasn't anything bad from Fnatic. And in this round, they are just going to have to fully save. They can't invest anything into this round. Five players will head over towards the A site for Fnatic, so they are going to go for a little bit of a stack. Now, in terms of this hold, it's going to be difficult because there's so many angles. I think it was actually just a little bit of early aggression, hoping that we'd see a quick push come out from HellRaisers, and then they would actually be set and ready to try and hold this down. But instead, they've actually rotated the majority back over towards the B site. Bondik is going to be aware. Olaf will be able to at least hit the dinks, so there is some potential to take him down. Unfortunately, they're going to have to try and find that player as well. The rest of the team are just going to be clearing angles over towards the A side. Of course, there are plenty of cubbies for these CT side players to hide in, but as of yet, there isn't really any position they've been able to capitalize on. They've just been isolated. Pushing back over towards Ivy. They do have two players ready and waiting, but they're just being cleared up at the moment. Only leaving one man left with his USP, and that will be Crims. And, well, there really isn't anything he can hope to do. As said, Bondik is low. On the rest of the players, he'd need to hit at least 2 bullets to the face to even do any damage of the sort. And almost gets Dead Fox. He's very low as well, but Angel is just going to come in to support, try and deny anything for the Fnatic side. And as said in the previous, every single player kept alive here for HellRaisers will work absolute wonders for their economy. Finally, however, we are going to see a buy coming in for this CT side. They're not going to have an AWP. They're not even going to have a kit. No head armor. But they at least have smokes between them. A couple of HEs and a few flashbangs to try and slow down a few of these pushes. Now the T side, at least to begin with, the majority of players are going to head further towards this B site. And well, it's looking like they may actually go for this push. They have taken the bomb with them. They're actually finally going to hear the drop out of Discord. Thank you very much for that. Well, now we are looking as the bomb actually isn't going over towards B. Not at least yet. Just sitting waiting for any aggression from the CT side, who are currently playing a much more standard approach once again. Olof's position is one that you normally want to have an AWP just because of the range of which the push will come in, but he's there to support Flusher, who can now just focus on ramp, but also the rotation from Connector is so very quick. The only problem is we normally see Molotovs, smokes, many additional nades thrown into that position. Now the smoke thrown out at the moment from the T side looks like it may just be a little bit of a bait. Now, it's there just to sort of force them to go a little bit more aggressive, hoping that maybe they'll expend some utility. Unfortunately for the CT side, they don't really have any utility to expend. They can't throw something out to try and deny all these pushes, because they only have one smoke. They have a nade. They have something to try and play with. The HE actually going to do an awful lot of damage. In fact, though, the $300 investment is worthwhile, and the first kill will, in fact, go their way. Very quick rotating, even denying the plant for a second or two, and Flush is just going huge. Got himself 2 kills. He was on the site the whole time. Deadfox at least looking to get the bomb plant, although they're going to be able to buy no matter what. But now the retake is on. It's the B site. It should be very easy, but actually starting things off, Deathbox gets 1. Angel has another under his belt, but he's on 2 HP. There's no way he's clutching out this round. Of Fnatic, they're going to be able to get the defuse. Looking, obviously, at the end of that round to actually try and retrieve a couple of weapons. They do find the AKs, but there isn't an AWP to actually pick up. So still no AWP for the CT side, and DevFox is now going to bring this new piece to the table. Something we haven't seen as of yet. Looking like he's going to go aggressively over towards the B site, maybe wait to see if the CTs go for anything of their own. They've been playing very passively so far, in fact, so not really overly surprised that he will not find anything early into this round. The majority of the team are going to go in this direction once again. Now, flusha this time, again, not with a rifle in hand, so the close range positions will benefit him a lot more, though the UMP does seem to have a little bit less of a drop-off than it probably should do. They're going to go straight through upper. Now, this time, there isn't any support. There is only one player here. flusha, he's just going to try and deny it by using utility, but straight in, pushing all the way up. Zero actually going to get himself another. And this has to be a position where, really, they have to consider whether it's actually worth challenging. JW is going to be caught out as well by Bondik, and they have completely shut down this B site. The remaining players are isolated out. And it's looking like they're just going to have to save, and you can already see, look at Angel's position. He's just going to go pushing in from behind. Try and make sure there is no chance of a save. Now, at the moment, Crims is in a position where he will be falling. He's looking for the other spot from the left. He shouldn't be expecting anyone to come in this direction. And although Angel misses a couple of shots, that's an easy frag for him to take. Dennis isolated in the corner. Angel also going to be pushing up, knows exactly where he is. And, well, shut down round. One and done for Fnatic. And their money is going to be absolutely stuffed going into this next round. Obviously, in this round, not expecting too much. Well, actually, we are going to see an investment. Okay. Clearly deciding the force buy was worth it for Fnatic, considering investing into the next round is going to be a little bit more difficult. The T's actually have plenty of cash to play with. And I'm hoping now that we have Harry back.
Yeah, hello again for the third time, or second, can't count. But hello, how are we doing? Yeah, into this round we can see Fnatic have gone for a little bit of light investment. Actually, fairly heavy. Just going to be force buying down to next to nothing left in their bank accounts, and already we'll be seeing players going aggressively in towards Pop. JW just going to be waiting at the bottom of that ladder, and Stiko peeks on out. Not going to spot him just yet. And actually some aggression over towards A main as well. Dennis is already here, just waiting on the other side of that smoke. Angel to find Olafmeister down towards Ivy, and that's going to open up the potential for them to make their way out over here towards A. flusha is loaning over towards this B site. JW going to be quick on the flank, though, if they do decide to come on through, and no one there to watch for the time being. No one here to trade things out. JW just having control of Pop can be so incredibly strong. Trying to trade for a player off that ladder, near on impossible. And you've got to be very, very quick to do so. Now we're going to be seeing Stiko double on back, picking up the bomb. flusha looking to go aggressive as well. They have to watch out as Crims has already pushed on up. He's playing the close angle in towards A main. Bondik and Stiko here should be to try and trade this out, but they peek on round. Crims goes in with the flash. Bondik going to get one. Dennis will fall. The pop flash coming out. Crims going to be fully blind. And Stiko there to get revenge. Now it's all on JW. He's trying to make his way up towards Pop, and oh, there's his head, like a game of whack-a-mole. Zero spotted out, and oh, there we go. Get to the second time around. Down he goes. And that's going to be HR to find themselves their fifth round on the T side. Fnatic, no money left. Just going to have to concede that down under these pistols at least. No money to invest into this, and that does mean HellRaisers should be able to pick up a sixth, and that's going to be a great spot for them to try and build up some money on the T side. I mean, 6 rounds potentially already on the T side, looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, and the big thing as well at the moment for Fnatic is the fact that their economy game has just been screwed at every single corner. They are not able to get anything done because they just don't have the money to. And we know that this team are very happy to throw in AWPs, double, well, maybe not more than that, but at the same time, we know that they're going to want to get these in play, especially on train. So the HellRaisers are going to be very, very happy with this start. As you said, it's likely to be a 6th round on the board, and, well, I'd have to be very worried for them if they did manage to lose this round, just based on what's currently being invested. The team just cleaning things up at the moment. And, well, a couple of players have been dinked at least, so maybe they can do an extra bit of damage, but that's all going to come down to the hands of JW.
Yeah, trying to come into a connector, rallies off a couple of shots, and Bondik maybe getting a bit overzealous there. He's already tagged down low, tries to go for the peak. He's only going to be 8 HP. JW looking to just try and find some sort of economic damage, but already you've got a player coming in on the flank in the form of Stiko to watch for him to fall back. Zero going to be taking the duel in through connector. JW got players enclosing in from all sides like a moth to a flame, and, well, For the time being, he's still very much alive over here. They haven't dealt with him just yet. Watching out, but it's Tico. Oh, he misses the shots. Never mind, JW still alive. Somehow, the Swede just dodging bullets like a deleted scene from The Matrix. Finally going to go down as Tico does pick that up. And now HellRaisers arrive at a 6th round. So much money in the bank. Angel going to be on $15,800. Got to rebuy some utility, but still nearly at 16,000. On the side of Fnatic, no money left once again. They've bought down fully into this round. A couple of players with $0 in those bank accounts. Actually, $200 left between them to try and scrape something together with into the next. And well, already 4 players over here towards this A site. And a lone flusher at B.
Yeah, the way they've been playing things pretty much all the way through the game. We haven't seen any sort of switch up. Not too much aggression either. And that could actually work out for them, at least to be able to script where this push is going to be coming in, just taking some map control, because at the moment, other than in the pistol rounds where we saw Crims actually go aggressive over towards A main, they really haven't tried too much, even just with the weaponry as well. We haven't even seen an AWP, if I'm not mistaken, over on that CT side, so definitely not looking too good so far. This time, however, Dennis does actually take a peek into A main, looking tempted to go a little bit further aggressive, which will actually give the information he desires. However, the T side are playing a default round. They're just waiting for this aggression. They're waiting to counter the Swedes and what they want to do, which is find out information.
Yeah, Bomb has rotated over here towards B. Bondit going to be hot on their heels as well, looking like it's just going to be a B-side play, and only Flusher here to hold this back. Going to have a lot on his plate any second now. You can see the rotate coming on in as Angel now looks to rejoin his team. He was just waiting for any potential Ivy aggression. They could have got all the info they needed on that one play, and now they're pushing towards B, going to be coming in. That nade going to find a whole boatload of damage, but Flusher will go down. As Bondik on the entry opens up this B site. Olaf going to be the first Swede on the scene, trying to find something, but instead Bomb is going to go down now. All 4 players here for the side of Fnatic. Crim's going to find the first. Zero does get one, but the trade's going back and forth, leaving a 3-on-3. Dead Fox with the AWP on site, going to pop flash for the rest of his team, and that's going to allow Stico to go for the ping. JW going to be tagged down low and then found through the ward on site, and Stico not done yet, looking for more. It's going to be Crims to go down. Dead Fox finds the last in the form of Dennis, and that's going to be HR to find themselves a 7th round once again. No money left for the Swedes, and you know what this means. It's going to be another, well, I was going to say eco, but they might force buy down to $2,000. They're at the full brunt of the loss bonus. And at this point, anything's better than nothing. So they've got to try and make some sort of play here on their CT side. I mean, 7 rounds for HR is absolutely insane. And it looks like they can pick up even more because of the low investment here from Fnatic.
Well, the scary prospect is as well that the likelihood is going to be a long time before we don't see a buy from HellRaisers. They're getting to the point in the game where they've got so much money that even if they lost 4 rounds in a row, the loss bonus would build up behind them and they just continue to buy and just make things very, very difficult for the Swedish side. Now, I did say at the beginning of this that we hadn't actually seen either of these teams play up against 2 tough opposition, and well, this is a little bit scary at the moment for Fnatic. Of course, they won't be out if they lose this game, but they will have to challenge versus Envious, and one of those teams will not be making it through to the land. So they want to be getting out here and now. At least in this round, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do too much. They have found some aggression over towards A main. The problem is, well, for starters, they have to be careful of the lurk coming out from Angel, but also the rest of the team are gathering up to what looks to be another B hit with Flusher so far away.
Yeah, I mean, these plays from HellRaisers looking barely legal. And already Flush is rotated around with the Deagle over towards that B site. But now he's going to be falling away, actually, over towards A. They could potentially catch off Angel, who is going to be the player furthest away from the rest of his teammates over at this B site. But now instead, he's just keeping things safe. And Crims and Dennis both looking to try and hold on to the armor so they can have a cheaper investment into the next. They might send Flusher in to try and wreak some havoc with the Deagle. There's going to be a smoke blocking his passage for the time being, but he will be able to potentially peek on out in a couple of seconds as the smoke now fades. The AWP are going to fade away, and this could allow Flusher to find a couple of exit frags. Dennis and Crims, it's, you know, fairly pivotal that they hold on to the armor into the next round. It will allow for a much stronger buy if they don't have to reinvest. They will already have an extra $650 taken off their plate, and this will be HellRaisers to find themselves an 8. They keep 5 alive. And ultimately, that's going to allow the economy to start to thrive over on the T side. Already so much money as it is, and now they're going to get even more. They're going to be rolling in it. 8 rounds to them, 2 to Fnatic. And Tom, who would have known this map is T-sided?
Yeah, well, at the moment, it's looking more like it's HellRaisers side, and they're looking absolutely phenomenal. Angel topping the board for his team, but nobody slacking. And, well, at the moment, the only glimmer of hope seems to be Dennis. A very, very scary prospect that we're, what, 11 rounds in, or we're on to the 11th round, and you add the kills of 4 players together and you have 10. That is just not on. That's not on at all. Fnatic, well, finally, we haven't had an ult for them the whole game. We're now going to see 2, JW and Olov picking them up. It's going to be over towards this A site. Once again, flusha is going to be trying to play this solo role, and it hasn't been working out so far. But they are actually going to be hitting onto this B site. They are going to hear the footsteps coming out from Dennis, who's going down straight away. One of the AWPs will make an instant impact, though. And actually, it's Olov. He finds a second, looking for more. Fox will be able to trade. And actually, there he goes. Angel again. A double kill for him already in this round. And Walt looking for a little bit more. Sticko adds to the death toll. flusha, well, he's that B player. Now he is the only player. Has to try and clutch versus 3. The bomb, it's actually going to be planted relatively open. He's going to get away with it. And now, well, flusha.
Yeah. And now, no one. It is going to be HellRaisers to find themselves a 9th. 9-2 right now on their T side. And, you know, I don't think you could have asked for anything better if you are HellRaisers coming into this. The only thing is, Fnatic, I mean, you can't count them out. They've got to have an epic comeback. The only issue I'm seeing is Flush has been playing that solo B site, right? I mean, he's kind of someone you could excuse maybe having the low frag count. He's always having to try and play for the retakes for the most part. Never really has a chance to make anything happen. Issue is, when you get like that, I mean, that lone player is going to start to become demoralized, as is the rest of the team. This time, though, we're not going to be seeing a lack of presence over towards B as they go aggressive. Dennis going to be here with the M4, peeking out onto Zero, who will bite the dust. Down he goes. As he goes from hero to Zero, he will fall. But now it's going to be Stico able to get one, quickly traded out by Olaf as they find an opening. 2 frags. Flusher on this A site, actually, with the UMP up on top of the train, able to find one and a bonding. And now it's Fox and Angel. 2v4. The best start we've seen for Fnatic, taken very early on. Now they're going to find themselves with a commandeering man advantage. Angel and Fox to try and maintain this round here for HR as they make their way. A little bit disjointed, actually. One over towards the kind of precipice of B, and then you can see Fox now rotating around to rejoin his teammate. Crim's going to be watching Pop, ready for the swift rotate to try and help up Olaf over on that B site. And it doesn't like B is going to be the site in question. They completely bypass Pop Dog for the time being. Crims will be hot on their heels, though, once they make their way over towards this B site. 45 seconds left. Plenty of utility to play around with. And only Olaf on this B site, who's looking like he might go aggressive. And if he does, this could be a very bad move. He goes down. That's that B site open. They spot him out, tag him down a little bit. Now they've got to watch out for Crims, who is going to be hot on their heels. They throw out the early utility to try and gain passage in towards the site. And it's going to be a slow take now. The push coming on in. Olaf going to fall on back. Passive just relinquish control of the site. Buys time for the rotate. Already everyone here from the side of Fnatic. And this should be their round as long as they just trade these frags out. Flusher going to be tagged down low immediately. But in goes Angel, and he will fall in the hands of Olaf, who tries to land the free fire on his Fox, and down he goes. 3 frags for the man himself. Over towards B.
Yeah, and finally we see some aggression. That's other than A main, we haven't seen any sort of B control attempted to be taken by Fnatic, and they throw it in and it wins them around. Just very nice start for them. Obviously the weaponry was a little bit weak, but now we get into dangerous territory. Right, 6 rounds is workable. 5 rounds is probably workable. They'd have to have a brilliant T-side either way. But if they get reset straight back here, that's where things become just impossible. They have to win this round. They have to pull something out of the bag here. They don't want to let HellRaisers straight back into the game. And well, it's going to be an aggressive start. This time, they are ready for any sort of aggression. It's not going to come. It's only going to be flusha on the site once again. We are going to have a push slowly making its way down ramp. Sticko is going to be waiting for Angel. He's going to be the first one pushing back in. Molotov is going to leave him isolated on the site. Has a little bit of support from Upper. Going to try and move flusha out of position. Actually, it's going to be Olaf to start. He gets one with the AWP. Rotation of the bomb hasn't actually been made just yet. They're looking to try and get back in, and it's a bit disjointed from HellRaisers. Not really playing that sort of team play that's been working so wonderfully thus far into the game. And, well, what that means is they're left in a 3 versus 5 attempting to try and challenge. Now, there's 2-3 split at the moment for Fnatic, so maybe they can hope to isolate. They will actually get past the bullets of Crims and spot out his position and try and use their utility to actually push him back, but there's just so many decent positions at the moment from this Fnatic roster. They are just beginning to clean things up. Dennis, looking for more, will be able to pick up another, and now it's all on to Zero. He needs to be the star of the show to win this round, and it's just not going to happen. Unable to finish things off, and it does mean that we are going to have another round on the board for Fnatic. Back in once again. Apology, guys, for all of the problems we're having with sound today. You are missing out on the wonderful voice of Just Harry. Gonna do my best to try and make this game as interesting as possible, but obviously 2's normally better than 1. However, Dead Fox this time is better than JW. He's gonna find the first pick of the round over towards Ivy. Something that we haven't seen too much of. Olof tagged very heavily through the wall, almost loses his life down to just 31 HP. Obviously, still in dangerous territory for the CT side. They do win the round. They keep 3 players alive, but the money still isn't good. And they don't want to be going into this last round with a weaker buy. They've already had a bad enough half as it is. T side, once again, looking like they are about to gamble over towards this A site. They have the big majority in terms of players. HP. Utility, though, still decent over on the CT side. They have quite a bit to spare. Zero actually looking to go a little bit aggressive. Now, very passive position currently from flusha. Does mean the rotation from him is going to be very, very quick. And we can see the smoke setup is going to be thrown in. Pop flash out. But it's going to be Dennis to get one back. Instantly traded. As they now look to try and do more. Olaf with the nade gets another and actually finds a pick with the AWP. Just going ham in this round. Picking up his 3rd kill. Leaving Zero isolated over towards this pop dog position. As said, the money has been so good for HR. They're actually going to be able to buy all the way to the end of the half, even with the loss streak that has come in. Can any damage be done? Olaf with the AWP does have to be a little bit careful, and he's just not even going to bother. Not going to challenge. Zero will be able to keep his gun, but it will at least be a 5th on the board for Fnatic.
Oh, Tom, I might be a bit loud because we've changed. Well, we changed. I don't know, communication service. So I don't know if you want to tend to that. I don't know if I am too loud, but hopefully I'm not. And yeah, as you said, very, very nice round there from Olaf. I mean, capital for them to be able to maintain this economy and keep weapons alive to buy down into the last round of the half and also pick up a 5th. Now, already, HellRaisers looking to try and make something happen out towards this A site. Dead Fox, Zero, and Bondic stacked up towards a main that Stiko is going to be up towards B, just trying to sell a bit of a fake, potentially. flusha could get picked up as well if he does opt to go aggressive, but instead, ball's on back for the time being. Olaf now joining flusha over at this B site. 3 players for Fnatic over towards A, and quite crucially, Olaf isn't going to be here with that trusty orb.
We are going to have a little bit of damage done, but it's the CT side coming out on top. We are going to have push coming back in. T-side trying to make their way through the smoke. Nice entry coming out from Stiko. It is going to be Dead Fox looking for more. Catches JW as well. And this is going to be back to a 2 versus 2. HP advantage firmly in the hands of the CT side. They are going to be falling back. We are going to have Dead Fox looking for more. Olaf will tag him down a little bit more with that AWP. Stiko to find one, but it's actually flusha to trade. 1 versus 1. 40 seconds left on the clock as he looks to rotate back around. We are going to just look to see if he can actually find anything. He doesn't know the position of the remaining player. It's likely that the bomb will be able to go down. And we are going to have Dead Fox getting that into position. The rotation from flusha is going to come through connector as well. And we are just waiting to see if he can actually find anything. Has a kit. Has himself a flashbang. But other than that, we're just looking at that Molotov on Dead Fox. He could end this round pretty quickly.
Yeah, Bomber's going to be taken away. flusha trying to pick up a 6th here for Fnatic, but he first has to deal with Dead Fox, who he's about to bump into. Does find the frag, and down he goes. There's going to be just enough time left to go ahead and grab that defuse. Fnatic going to find themselves with 6 rounds. Let's not forget that it was 9-2 4 rounds ago. So out of those, last 4 rounds, Fnatic managed to take all 4. So good job from them to try and pull things back. 9-6 scoreline, definitely going to be more doable than if it were anything else. And, you know, a great kind of individual performance coming out from Olaf to really try and carry them across the line. They're trying to allow them to pick up a couple more rounds. Dennis as well having a good early game. And then, you know, with the improvement of Olaf coming into it, does kind of steal the light away from him a little bit, but still, it is going to be a 9-6 scoreline. Now the pistol round going to be pivotal here for Fnatic. If they can pick this up, we could very easily see them equalize this out 9-9.
Yeah, definitely not the worst case scenario. It was looking terrible as we started. Obviously, we saw a 9-2 scoreline come in before they managed to win the last 4 rounds. Either way, looking like the T's are willing to go very, very quickly into this round. Not actually... It looked like they were just going to blow straight out onto the A side, but they haven't done it just yet. They're waiting for this Ivy presence. Sticko straight through the smoke. And Zero actually going to be able to get another one as well. It is just going to be these trades backwards and forwards, but so far it's very, very much in the CT favor. But Dennis will be able to get one more. The flank works for at least a second. Now Crim's left alone. Manages to bring it back to a 2 versus 1. He doesn't have any armor, but at least he has the bomb.
Yeah, the clutch king Crims. That's a difficult one to say. 1v2 does have 2 frags. Got to try and 4K this out to pick up the pistol round for Fnatic. And whilst he pushes down over towards Ivy, I think HellRaisers actually now, as they go aggressive, they check out towards A main. Now they might try rotating over towards B, thinking that's where he's going to be. And they are going to take the gamble of just playing retake over towards this site. And well, we had to be seeing Crims making his way on through. Rotate coming in as Bondic and Deadfox actually both in connector, ready to quickly rotate over towards A if need be. Crim's going to push all the way through, trying to play over here towards B. Well, this might work out. Actually, Bondic's going to be looking completely the wrong way, as is Deadfox. Neither of these players fully aware, and oh my god, he's going to be able to spot out one, spots them both. He knows what they both are. Crim's going to get one now, pushing through, and oh, Crims, what are you doing? That's 4 frags, and you are insane, my friend. That's going to be Fnatic to pick up the pistol. 7-9. Amazing. Amazing. Just trigger discipline coming in there from Crims to spot them both out, find those frags, and HellRaisers completely clueless as he clutches it out from a 1v3.
Well, that should have been it. That should have been a sort of beginning of the end for Fnatic, but Crims is just there. The clutch meister. He's been so good at this all the way through. And now he's going to do it again. Sticko looking for the scout show. It's going to be an aggressive push straight out over towards this A side, but it's actually going to be the pistols doing the damage early on. Trade back from Crims. Still looking to drag his team through this one. It is currently Dennis at the top of the board. Deadfox looking to try and find something through the smoke. Unable to as of yet, and they don't have a kit. After plant positions on A, it just means you can fall back. Similar to Overpass. Just plant in the open and try and fade back to give yourselves that advantage. Obviously, the UMP's not the best with the range, but that AK on Crims is going to be the deciding factor, I feel.
You go up on top of the train, does spot out Olaf, so they know where one of these players are. He's going to be crossing over towards E-Box, and Deadfox does find that one. Frag smokes down, allow them to try and go for the defuse, and actually, Deadfox doesn't make them out. Flusher now going aggressive, does at least find one. It's all going to be on 0. 1 versus 1, and Flusher just playing for time. Going to try and deny this defuse coming on in. He is going to be tagged down low, and 0 will be able to pick it up, but there goes the bomb, and down it goes 0. 8-9 Fnatic. They pick themselves up the 8th, but they lose everybody. So a very good round nonetheless from HR in terms of doing damage to the economy. Now we're going to see Fnatic just have to grit their teeth. I imagine we're going to see a couple of players pick up SMGs, maybe just one to try and take advantage of the no armor on behalf of HR, but no, it's just going to be the case of rifles across the board. They didn't have a lot of money, so I guess they don't want to risk the rebuys. Flusher keeping the Tech 9 to allow him to try and buy an AWP in the latter stages, and he's going to be going straight out over towards A.
Yeah, actually just going alone, selling the solo fake as the rest of the team will just be rotating in. Of course, he doesn't have a whole lot to lose. The Tech 9 can be OP, but I don't think he's going to mind too much if they take this one out of his hands. The bomb, in the meantime, is just going to go comfortably over towards this B site. And, well, the job has been perfectly done by Flusher. The rest of the team are just going to go aggressive, hold on to this connector control, and make it very, very difficult for them to actually rotate back in. And well, although the flank may get a little bit interesting, considering nobody's actually watching it, I don't think there's really anything that Bondic is going to be able to do.
A man, a bucket full of dreams, and a USP. And he does make his way on through. The best he can really hope for is that he can find some sort of weapon, and sadly, flusha, the only player to drop, did have the Tech 9. That was already picked up earlier on, so he won't be able to find that. And it will be the 9th round going the way of fnatic. Not too much damage done. I mean, flusha going down really only a $1,500 investment, give or take the little bit of utility he had as well. As we see it get equalized out, it is going to be the buy coming in from HR. They are going to opt to pick up the AWP instead. It's just going to be rifles across the board. Nice bit of utility for them to play around with as well. fnatic not going to be picking up the AWP either, keeping the Galil on Dennis and looking to try and build up some money before they do go for an AWP buy. Well, now they're going to be seeing the setup from HR, what they have planned for their CT side. Already very obvious they're going to be playing for this anchor over towards B. The quick rotate can come in from Angel, and actually tested it already. fnatic lining up some utility, going to be trying to land these pre-fires through smoke on towards the A site, and just a lot of raw speed and momentum coming out from the fnatic lineup to try and find some entries. Not going to present themselves though, thanks to good utility usage from HR to smoke off all the major choke points. A main going to be the only one that isn't smoked off, and that's due to this strong crossfire setup between Stiko and Bondic. For the time being, it looks like fnatic are thinking about making something happen out towards this A site. You have a player watching Ivy, player over towards Pop, and then flusha watching the aggression over towards B. But the strong thing about this setup on Train is that you really can and do have the potential to go anywhere based on where you find this opening pick.
Already a couple of players making their way over towards that B site. Still a little bit of control towards Ivy. Basically just playing a default round, making sure that the CTs are unable to find any information without going into the crosshair of a Swede. And well, you can actually see a little bit of a different setup to what we saw from fnatic. It's not just going to be that solo player who was actually flusha. This time they've got two players in a bit of a crossfire over towards this B site, and that's actually where the push is going to be coming in. flusha is ready to just explode out the top part of the map, and the rest of the team are rushing straight down the bottom. They've only got 20 seconds to play with. Molotov will be going down, but it's going to be the first couple of kills going in, and it's a trade. The CT side still with a player actually on the site. Angel, he's been huge so far in the first half, and looking to do the same. He gives them the man advantage in this retake. The rotation is a little bit delayed, in fact, from Olov, and that means that, well, he's just going to be a little bit too slow unless he can get in right now. He needs to fall that flank, and the problem is the bomb's already being defused. They're actually just going to fake it to try and bait out his position, so it does give him a little bit more time. The Molotov can go down. I don't think it's going to deny anything, though. They'll have the defuse come to me, but actually, they don't have a kit. They're not playing with a kit. So that actually will deny one of the players on the bomb. They should be able to defuse it anyway, but that came a little bit closer than it should have done, and he will take a second player with him at least.
Yeah, I really thought they'd have a kit, but I guess they didn't get the memo. Insert cringy line about buying kits here. It's going to be 9-10 as HellRaisers pick up that 10th round, their first rifle. They keep two players alive. They just managed to get the defuse. Ultimately, though, the lurk coming in from Olaf could have been a little bit faster there on the rotate to try and help out his teammates. Instead, does just kind of let them get traded out on the site, and then finds it hard to clutch things out 1v4. Able to find two frags there at the end, but not enough to win them the round. fnatic still with enough money to buy down. Going to be seeing JW naked, but with an AWP in hand, and that's a beautiful sight. As already working his way out towards A main, trying to spot out Stiko. Doesn't quite connect the shot, has to fall one back, and it's going to be just at the full mercy of aim punch and the utility usage from HR, which has been pivotal thus far. Going to be watching the close angle over towards Stopper, trying to line up a shot on the Dead Fox. So if he keeps peeking on out, could go down, but at first he's going to worry about Olaf, who's going to land that quick headshot. Down he goes. That's going to be Ivy control now, open for congestion. And already Crims looking like him and flusha want to go for the buddy system down in towards Pop. They're trying to get control of Ivy. Stiko has rotated on round. 3 players within earshot of this A site. And actually, no, they're going to rotate a player off to make his way over towards B. Only 2 players here now in the form of Bondic and Stiko, making this a very, very takeable site for fnatic.
Yeah, the problem is they obviously don't have all the information. JW is just going to be waiting, hoping that somebody will peek into his crosshair. Bondic is going to do just that. Will miss the shot. Remember, he doesn't have any armor, so he does have to be very, very careful versus these M4s. Will spot Bondic out on the top of the train. Actually, he calls for backup. Dennis is going to do the damage. In fact, Crims will steal away the kill. A lot of damage done by Stiko, however, but they're losing players left, right, and center. Zero and Stiko, all that remains of this CT side. And the bomb going down, well, this leaves them with very little choice but to attempt to fall back. Now, you talk about the previous round and how it was a 4 versus 1. We talked about he only got 2 kills. That's actually so valuable when you look at the economy of this CT side now, after breaking them straight back. 4 players still alive at the moment for the Swedish side. If they take one with them and then lose a life, it's not too bad. But from their perspective, they just want to keep building that cash.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this should allow fnatic to try and pick up an 11th and actually claim the lead out from underneath HR. Saving up 2 rifles really doesn't allow them to try and force much into the next. The only benefit is I mean, you know, you have 3 players on the double eco, so if they do force buy up armor and pistols behind the 2 catalyst rifles, try and use them to do as much damage as they can. But it does leave HR in an awkward spot. Do they go for the force buy and then have to eco out the next? It does look to be the case, seeing as they are in the double eco anyway. But I mean, if they lose this, then it's going to be yet another round to go the way of fnatic in the next. And that could very easily put them at a 12-10 scoreline before HR have any money in the bank to try and buy down. You're going to be seeing 3 players out towards A. What looks like some aggression potentially out towards B, as Angel now going to be trying to push up through the smoke. There is Flusher here, though, holding close to try and spot him out and deny. Oh, okay, Flusher, you just go ahead and do that, then why the hell not? As he does find an opening. Frags are going to be tagged down low as well. And oh, in the fire and flames, things get a little bit toasty. Flusher looking to continue his reign of terror.
Oh, no!
Slam dunk. Oh, never mind, it's the Molotov that does it first. Flusher going to find those 2 opening frags over towards B. The take a reinforced swing, and Flusher's on 3. What is this man doing? As he kickstarts this round in a big way for fnatic, he's just going to open things up over towards B, and that's the save called already for HR. Dead Fox and Bondic trying to hold on to a UMP and Scout as fnatic find themselves their 11th.
I think jumping into that Molotov may have actually saved him a little bit of embarrassment there, because I'm almost certain that nade would have killed him. Bondic is looking to try and get a rifle, but JW is there to defend it, leaving just Dead Fox left. Obviously, they did force into this round. Into the next, there will be next to nothing. So if he can save this, hope to try and do a little bit of extra damage at least. And then they will be buying back up into what will be round number 23. But fnatic, so far, they've won 5 of the 6 rounds on this T side. Obviously, the pistol does help quite a bit. Obviously, that comes courtesy of Crims. You have to say, if he doesn't clutch out that round, this game could be over by now. We could be sat, all of you guys could have left, the stream would be over, and HellRaisers would be through. Instead, he clutches that out, and they've had a very good start to this T side.
Yeah, and here's Zoloft looking to try and farm some cash. Does find the first down to Angel. These players just running around with only USPs in hand. A couple of P250s here and there. And oh, Flusher, just smokes don't exist to this man. He deleted smokes.jpg, and now he's going to allow that to pick up another frag over towards this A site as he continues his reign of aggression. He's going to look for a second, and he's going to get it. Down goes Zero. He's looking for another triple. This man knows no bounds. Stiko down at Ivy with the Scout, trying to deny the plant. Can't quite do it in time, and actually doesn't take the shot. There's JW on the quick flick to dispatch of Stiko, and now it's all on Bondic, who peeks out wide with the P250 in hand. JW going to be watching for the aggression onto Dennis, and the peek comes out. Bondic's still alive somehow, overstaying his welcome just a little bit though, as Dennis does pick that up. fnatic now find themselves 12-10, 2 rounds ahead, and in fighting form here into round 23.
Yeah, and we're seeing a very similar CT side that came out from fnatic, just unable to get the full utility, unable to get the AWPs, and it's looking pretty flat, it has to be said. The T's are absolutely dominating, and clearly in this matchup at least we've seen a complete switch around of Train. Obviously, we did actually see in the Major, for example, both teams able to pick up more rounds on the T side, but it's becoming the norm at least. Angel will be there to start things off. A little bit of aggression was how fnatic started off their CT side. Maybe this will be the way that HellRaisers are able to kickstart theirs.
And up and Zero is over here towards B on his own, but Stiko quickly on the rotate to try and reinforce this. But this could fall over towards Olaf. He's actually past one of the players at Ivy with the crossfire set up. He will go down. Zero falls, however, towards B. It's going to be back into a 3-on-4. Flush is tagged down extremely low. Only 5 HP. But he's going to be trying to go aggressive. They lose JW to an early flank in from Bondic, and now it's going to be put back into a 2-on-4. Flush is pushed up, though. A little bit closer than I think they would have expected. Dennis to be on the AWP, but he's going to land himself a second. Oh, now he's on 4. Okay, Dennis, what's going on? Suddenly brought this back into the realms of possibility for fnatic. It's all on Deadfox, who does find Flusher at least, but he's still going to contest with Dennis, who's playing for the ace. And to try and pick fnatic up their 13th. Deadfox got to try and defuse this bomb. And while Dennis, more than aware of this, just going to be biding his time, waiting for the defuse to come in. Deadfox going to be sticking it. No, actually falls on back. Molotov goes out. And Dennis is going to take the peak. That's 5 frags. He gets the ace. And a 13th round for fnatic. A sensational play. As we just seem to be witnessing, one by one, the players on this roster stepping up for their team.
Yeah, Dennis just picking up the AWP of his teammate and casually getting an ace like it was nothing. Made all of those frags look very, very easy, and, well, as said, it's looking almost identical to what we saw on the other side, other than the fact that the pistol went the way of fnatic on the previous half. It was 3 rounds, then just a load of T rounds after the one defuse in the middle. This is...
We've had back-to-back frag movie clips as well. 3 rounds in a row, just nothing but excitement coming out from fnatic, and that is refreshing to see. Oh, are you ready? There you go. Angel, speaking of scene, he's not going to be seeing anything much longer as his head gets taken clean off by JW early on, trying to peek up over the top of the blue train there to get some info in A main. Does spot out a couple of players, but then loses his life. He's going to go down early on. Still 2 nades there for HellRaisers to try and play around. Steeko going to be taking the same angle. And oh, JW going to go for the peek. It's going to be coming off worse in that engagement. Tagged down low, but now Crims is here to try and avenge his teammate. He's going to be tagged down to 23 HP. Steeko rotating back towards Ivor to try and watch the angle. Isn't aware of the push that could be coming in from either Pop or A main right now. fnatic a little bit undecided. Don't want to fall prey to any sort of stack, and they don't have a lot of information. All they know is that Steeko is over here towards this A sand. And now he is the solo A player, but he's already done a good bit of damage. And as a result, it looks like they might try playing for B, which is going to be the most stacked out of the 2 sites.
Looking to see what this double HE can do. They've held this 3-man position for quite a while, and Steeko hasn't seen anyone. There goes the double nade. We'll be able to get one. Actually doing quite a bit of damage at the moment. Bringing it back at least a little bit closer, but not really going to do too much. Obviously, fnatic in the exact same position we saw on HellRaisers, where they really don't have any problems losing a couple of players because they've got so much money in the bank. Finally, we're actually going to be able to see an AWP for HellRaisers, though. This could be the change we've been waiting for. Deadfox hasn't been able to get that in play, I think, this whole CT side. And they are actually going to be calling a tactical pause going into this. Now, I'd quite like to see him go aggressive, maybe over towards the B site, try and find an early pick. If he doesn't, then just rotate back to A and just play a sort of standard round. But it seems like just sitting and waiting for fnatic to push in is just not working at the moment. They're being out-fragged, as you said, through smokes. Nothing they seem to be able to do. And, well, this is sort of what we expect to see sometimes from fnatic. When they're on point, they are a very, very scary team.
I mean, what do you do, you know, against 26 to 14 Dennis? And, you know, Flusher, who just, you know, sees all. What do you do there? What do you do against those 2 men who right now have turned up for fnatic? And it's a wonderful sight to see. I mean, looking a little bit old school almost in how they're playing this. Looking to be in fighting form once again. JW already going to go aggressive out towards A main. Deadfox to try and hold him back. We'll be watching the push to Ivy actually. And oh, there's JW to capitalize on that as Deadfox get caught looking the wrong way on the ladder. Oh, like a speed demon. Admin, he's doing it sideways, falling on back. Lands a nice B hop there off the ladder to avoid the waiting moors of Bondic. It's actually going to be Steeko going to go down. Bondic falls as well on the push from JW. Now all of a sudden it's all on Angel and Zero. Got to try and hold down this A site. Angel going to be the first man on the scene. Caught out in the open by Flusher, who finds his head. And now it is all on Zero. 1v4 coming in from B right now in CT spawn on the rotate. And at this point, probably going to be thinking about saving. Might try and find something to get him in towards this site potentially. If he does peek up and find this frag on a Crims, then we might see him go for something here. But no, does just look to be saving the M4 over towards CT spawn.
Yeah, what do you do in this situation? He'll at least be able to get the Crims, of course. Really, the only value is saving that rifle. As said, not going to be able to do anything to the economy of this T side. It is stacked at this moment, and Flusher, well, he's going to finish things off. 15 to 10. What was not a particularly good CT side has turned into an absolutely phenomenal T side. 9 to 1 in this second half for fnatic at the moment. And, well, now we have to just look towards this CT side. It's going to be a complete... I can finally make the joke. A family. Family.
Hey. There we go, and already to push out towards A main. The nades not finding much damage, but there are still nades aplenty left for HellRaisers here. And actually, they take the Famises up close and personal. Angel going to go down, just able to find that first frag. And all down goes Bondic as well. The family not faring too well for them here as they do push on out. Then is going to find himself a second. And now Zero coming in through Connect. A lot of work left to do. And oh my god, in the blink of an eye, they all fall. That is going to be Fnatic to pick things up 16-10. The most monumental of comebacks. The first round. The first half, sorry, let's not forget, it was 9-2 at one point. Fnatic now finishing it off 16-10, looking like they were in command the whole time. We're going to be going through to map number 3, which is the decider. That is going to be Inferno, this time with no Discord problems.